We can pawn that sign because you have convinced me. It doesn't matter whose name is on that sign. Put it in a C. And I want to hear a ding, Billy the Kid. I want to hear a ding every time that shifts for crying out. Otherwise, we'll be relying on extra clever quips from Applejack. All right, President Trump. First 6 months of President Trump, and we're going to have Mr. Fist on in a little bit.
That's a weird
Razor Fist
name.
A lot has transpired. We're going to try and be as objective as possible with this. And before we go into it, you tell me, how would you grade President Trump overall in this administration in the first 6 months? And then you can follow along with each individual category. All references available, link in the description as we do every show here. So he was pressed on this and a whole load of issues from the press this week. And it seems as though they kind of know what the messaging should be, and it seems as though those on the left really want to press him hard here. 6 months, that's usually pretty common in an administration. It's sort of a marker that's significant.
I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island. We thought we had that settled numerous times. And then President Putin goes out and starts launching rockets into some city like Kiev and kills a lot of people in a nursing home or whatever. You have bodies lying all over the street.
Yeah, they were old.
And I say that's not the way to do
fair
it.
Point.
I think everybody, unless they're pretty cold-hearted or worse than that, nuts.
I've never seen his hair like that.
There's nothing you can say other than it's terrible when you see the kids. And those are kids, whether they talk starvation or not, those are kids that are starving. I'm disappointed in President Putin. Very disappointed in him. So we're going to have to look, and I'm going to reduce that 50 days that I gave him to a lesser number because I think I already know the answer what's going to happen. They are starving. And you see the mothers, they love them so much. And there's just nothing they seem to be able to do. They got to get them food, and we're going to get them food. Did you get to see my drive in the first hole? I did. Pretty long. Pretty long. That's no Joe Biden. I tell you.
He looks different there.
Yeah, it is hair. It's like I don't like. It's like
he less orange too.
It's like
he's less orange. Is definitely this term.
Blonde Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah.
It's like when you see someone you always see with glasses without glasses. You're like, oh, they're just beads. So let's go through. And by the way, let's bring up the chart. We're going to actually rate his different policies here and put them on a chart from A to D, and then S is, I don't even necessarily know what it stands for. It's just, I think, super.
Super satisfactory.
Because we didn't have time to make this from
no
scratch
expense,
today.
Gerald.
Yeah. So let's start off with this. One of the big reasons that you voted for him, and a surprising number of Hispanic Americans voted for him on this policy, immigration. Yesterday, by the way, just as an update to President Trump on Truth, was celebrating and looking to recruit ICE officers. He wrote, our brave ICE law enforcement agents are getting the worst of the worst criminals out of our country. Terrorists are the worst. Pedophiles, they're the second worst. MS-13 gang members, I guess they're all the worst. Murderers, rapists, drug and human traffickers, they're getting these slaze bags, the scum of the earth that crooked Joe Biden let in, out of here. Then he released this one-page ad to help with recruitment. So it seems to,
She's everywhere.
Standard issue with every new ICE agent.
Overexposure could be a problem. Immigration. This is one, and we can all, I have my rating, but you guys can let me know what you think. The border. So I want to separate this kind of into two things. The border itself, the security of the border, before we get to deportation. So migrant crossings are down 99.99%.
That's a lot.
Compared
one guy somewhere.
to Biden.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know if we can take this one as a secure border and put this under A. And all of this, we want to give you context and compare it. I said you're going to have that law of contrasts compared to Biden. Right? You had 8 years of Obama, you had 4 years of Donald Trump, you have another 4 years of basically Obama, and really now you have 6 months. But we will, at the end of this, have another 4 years of President Trump. Border crossing, that's what we call statistically significant. Down by 99.99%. Without even having to finish building the wall. The border is effectively secure. Certainly, if we're using the definition or a comparison to at any point in our lifetimes in this country. It's a secure border.
Absolutely. I think I disagree with you slightly on this one. I'm putting this in the God category of S. I didn't realize that existed until we started talking about it. Here's why. Because it's not only the 99.99%, which I think, what else does he have to do to please you to the godlike status that he deserves in this category?
0.01%.
It's no, I don't need perfection. What I'm saying is,
One guy's
He
ruining
didn't
it.
anticipate someone who could do math.
yes, I failed to take that into account. But also, what did he get? Like 40 some odd billion or $60 billion in the big beautiful bill for border security.
Oh, I'll
so
get
I
to
think
that.
if you add those two things in, that I think that matters.
170 billion.
No, 170 billion goes to ICE.
Oh, to
for
ICE. Yeah, yeah.
deportations, which is
Sorry.
a different thing. I'm just saying, just for the border wall to be able to secure it. So that for me, the results plus the additional money going.
Here's why I put it in
permanently.
A. Because unless he builds the wall and the infrastructure is there permanently, the next person can undo it.
That's true. So he has to actually
A.
do it.
But if he does that and he
A-
finishes the wall
A
and he
plus?
makes sure. Well, it doesn't matter. Noodles, no, I'm the one who grades this. My name's on the sign. We don't go by
Oh, no,
Gerald's.
That's fine.
What's
It's
the
fine.
thing
It's
at the
godlike.
top?
It's godlike.
S, it's better than A. S is like godlike.
I'm with
tier.
him on that one.
Yeah, all right. Okay, all right, fine.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think you're right. It has to get done.
Do not move it. All right, but I want to separate that from deportations.
Yeah.
So deportations, so far we have either deportations or people being detained to be deported in 2025, 206,000. That includes, I think it's about 150 who've been deported, 50-something odd thousand who are detained. And by the way, that's more than Biden's entire 2024 deportations in those first 100 days. So significantly
better.
more. So it's better. But I would like to see more. Now, yes, ICE has gotten $170 billion in the big, beautiful bill. And that means that they have a larger budget than, I guess, all but 15 of the world's militaries. All but 15. ICE.
I love it.
That's awesome.
So
Love it.
I'd like to see more deportations. It's
Yeah,
a drop in the bucket. I give him border security, A. I see a point for S. As far as deportations, I'd give him a B. I give him a B, and that could go to an A pretty quickly if this budget gets implemented. We'll see what happens.
So yeah, based on his, and Nick, I want to hear what you have to think about this too, or say about this. But based on his rhetoric about deportations prior, that B is very close to a C for me.
Yeah.
I know this is a process, and I know it takes time. So I'm not really like critiquing him and saying he's doing a bad job. I'm just saying like we need to see a ramp up. Otherwise, the numbers really, because we're talking about what?
I think that's fair.
15, 20 million people is the number that he's throwing around.
Yeah.
It's going to take us a long time to get there.
Yeah,
if
it's
we
gonna
go
take
at
us a
this
really
pace.
long time.
So it needs to speed up.
All right, what do you think?
That's exactly where I am.
Yeah, C?
Exactly. Right on that
Agreeing
cusp.
too much, Nick.
You know what? Perfect. You know what? I don't care. We can pawn that sign because you have convinced me. It doesn't matter whose name is on that sign. Put it in a C. And I want to hear a ding, Billy the Kid. I want to hear a ding every time that
sound
shifts for
effect
crying out
there.
loud. Otherwise, we'll be relying on extra clever quips from Applejack.
C for Crowder.
Who screwed
No,
me
you
out
guys,
of that?
yes, C. I didn't want to be too, because I do have one that's not a great grade.
Of course.
But now I want to look. We're gonna sort of spread this out because let's go to the economy. And again, I want to separate this into the economy in general versus trade. And the reason for that is because we sort of have metrics that are used in judging presidents that are pretty standard. Okay, you look at inflation, you look at GDP, you look at employment. Trade is a radical departure where Donald Trump is really the only president in recent history to take his approach. So I think it deserves its own category.
Yeah, trade imbalances has not exactly been a talking point of most presidents.
No, it's not sexy to tell people about that too. So trade. Let's look. Sorry, the economy first. Let's do that. June, the year-over-year inflation is at 2.7%. Sorry. Compare that to the Biden average of 5%, including a high of 9% in 2022. Oof. So we have 2.7% versus an average of 5 and a high of 9 under Biden. Again, this doesn't exist in a vacuum. Check all the references. We put the links in the description. That's a big deal. Remember, he had inflation below 2% in his first term. And this will tie into trade because everyone told you, right? We've run these montages. Oh, Mike, you're going to see inflation out of control with these trade deals, with these tariffs. It's a tax on you. And you know what? Once upon a time when I was more libertarian, I kind of believed that. Turns out that's not exactly the case, and certainly not the case if you have someone who knows how to balance it. So something, again, important in the context, President Trump beat expectations on inflation for 5 months in a row. The experts have been effectively wrong in their prediction. 5 months.
That's like all of his months
in a row.
office, right?
Yeah.
So he's beaten it for all of his months,
Right.
we'll say.
And actually, gas prices are down 36 cents per gallon. And this is a really important one, too. We've talked about this in the past. Job growth, but there's a hidden number there. And we've talked about sort of public sector job growth, right? That was what happened under Barack Obama. If you just take enough tax dollars and give people a spoon to dig holes along the freeway, yeah, it's a shovel-ready job.
IRS agents, all that stuff.
Yeah, all of that. So let's separate that for a bit. Another stat, though, that is shocking is the native-born, meaning people born in the United States, citizens versus foreign-born employment. That's where you see the real difference. That's where the story is told. So under Biden, and again, a lot of the job growth was rebound, right? Because of COVID that was basically orchestrated by the left to try and kneecap Donald Trump. You saw some job growth. Most of those jobs were return jobs pre-COVID, but it was about 3 million. 3 million of those jobs went to foreign-born workers. Native-born, meaning American citizens, they saw a net decrease of 1.4 million jobs. So native-born lost 1.4 million. Foreign-born workers added 3 million jobs. Under President Trump, so far, just the second term, native-born job growth, 1.5 million. So it's gone up 1.5 million, and foreign-born jobs have gone down by 1 million. And the reason that's so important, too, is because it shows, remember they were saying these people are doing jobs that Americans don't want to do. I have told you, I don't believe that. I've never believed that. I think it's absolutely a canard that you hear from the left, and we are seeing that. We are seeing it being an orchestrated, self-fulfilling prophecy. The left says, these are jobs that Americans don't want to do, where they give foreign-born workers the right-of-way to the tune of 3 million new foreign-born jobs under Biden, and Americans losing 1.5 million. Under Donald Trump, native-born people gaining 1.5 million, foreign-born workers losing them. There's a balancing taking place, which it really just comes down to, if you want to say it's evil to prioritize American citizens, people born here first, okay, well, then why is it not evil to prioritize foreign-born workers? Either way, you can look at the numbers. This doesn't happen by accident. It's clearly by design. What design do you prefer? Americans benefiting or people coming here who often don't stay here and send their money back home? That's a huge difference. And we've seen, if you add this all up as far as the economy, even CNBC, live on air, were shocked as to how well the economy is doing.
But we are expecting a number around 2.5%. Last quarter, you do realize, was down 0.5%. That was the weakest quarter since the first quarter of 22. And they're out up 3%, up 3%. Better than expected. That would be the highest level since the third quarter of 24 when it was up 3.1%. On the pricing index side, less than expected. We're looking for a number over 2%. This number is
You just did a hail.
2%. 2% would be the lowest pricing index
Oh,
number
he's doing the okay.
going back to the third quarter of 24 when it was 1.9%. So very good news all in all, especially considering that Liberation April 2nd falls in this quarter, and it was definitely better than expected.
I'm so happy I might go goose step. Did you
well,
see him? He was doing the okay. Well, the numbers went up, and that's okay. People have lost their jobs for doing that.
Where's a Hugo
That
Boss
was-
when I need it?
Who was that? Fauci's cousin?
Yeah, exactly.
like a-
He has his own baseball card from Topps, too.
Oh, I know.
So,
Worst first pitch ever.
and you guys, so as far as economy, I give him an A on the economy. This is separated from trade. I give him an A right now on the economy. I mean, you have to look at inflation, you have to look at employment, you have to look at where the employment growth is. Definitely an A, especially considering the act he had to follow. What do you guys think?
Nick, you go first. I don't want. I want you.
I'm sorry, I zoned out. What are we talking about?
Anyway, I'll go.
It's entrancing that man's hails.
Yes,
and okays.
exactly.
No, it's an A.
Yeah, you give him an A? Okay.
Because
an
he's
A.
putting natives first.
Yeah.
And he said he was gonna, and he's fulfilling, just on the fact that he's fulfilling his promises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, like you said, these guys who are poo-pooing him have been wrong every time.
I know.
mean, how can you not? It's hard not to give him an A.
Yeah.
I'd give him an A too, but I just don't. I'm trying to think of what I would want to see to give him the S. Like, I don't know, like the foreign-born work. How do you reverse it that fast? How do you make that kind of an impact that quickly on something that was a massive trend that we didn't even know about until whenever we reported on it, I was like, are you kidding me?
To get an S
Nobody's talking about it?
would be if there would be a way to get quicker tax breaks in for businesses, and also some of the proposed policies that relate to some visas. Not necessarily thrilled with.
Maybe debt stuff. Like, I understood.
debt stuff.
I understood Massey's point about the debt ceiling. I get
Yeah.
it, but I just didn't think it made any sense the way he was making it right there. Like, I don't want to just continue to run up debt as well.
No, I get it.
Deficit spending sucks, but at the same time, there's something you got to do. So yeah, hey, I give an A.
Okay. Well, let's separate that from trade because
Okay.
this is sort of Donald Trump's, I guess, pet issue. And the truth is, I've talked about this often. Having friends and family in finance, they would always say, well, you better start learning Mandarin because China's the next big. It was just a foregone conclusion. And I will give him credit. My Pops Crowder was the only one who's like, no, I don't buy it. And back, he didn't have a crystal ball. He would say, you can't have a country that makes all of this and a citizen, an entire citizenry that never gets to use it. You can't. This is going to have to crumble under its own weight. And because they're still communists, he's like, I don't buy it. They're not going to be the next great superpower. I'm sorry, they're not. It's never going to happen. And Donald Trump was the first person to really bring it to the forefront. Remember, they used to attack him and say, oh, yeah, he says China, but look at his ties made in China. Yeah, but he was honest about it, going, this is the only way to compete because of the policy that's been set.
Yeah.
He has to use the loopholes and the rules as the game is played. Everyone mocked him. Everyone else just assumed China was going to be the next great superpower, that the United States was going to shrink on the world stage. He's the only one who took a different approach and specifically has talked about tariffs and using trade, which, by the way, he also uses as probably his most valuable tool or resource on national security and international issues, too, because it's a lever he can pull.
Oh, yeah.
So he wrote this today. He wrote, the August 1st deadline is the August 1st deadline. It stands strong and will now not be extended. A big day for America. And talking about these trade deals. So let me rattle these off for you, because I am genuinely amazed, and I mean this. I thought he would get some done. There's a big if as far as China, but I didn't know how quickly this would happen. He obviously saw something, and he saw the leverage that the United States had, and he must have been able to read the room and gauge that those in Europe and those in the other nations know that they've been taking advantage of our good graces, and that it's an entirely reasonable ask from our country to say, let's start playing fair. Because he secured major trade deals with UK, Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines, Japan, a huge one, the EU. And not only that, by the way, $10 trillion in foreign investment into the United States economy, when you add up governments and you also add up foreign companies investing in the United States economy.
Yeah.
Plus an extra $50 billion in customs revenue.
So far.
An extra $50 billion, which, by the way, this has not had a lot of time to ramp up.
No.
And this also, the move that he just pulled with Ukraine and with Europe and Russia, that is going to pinch that valve on them if they start getting their energy from us.
Yep.
So $10 trillion to us, but you also have to go, that's also a net loss to nations that hate us. So Russia, sure, but I guarantee you the investment in the United States means that there's going to be less investment in China, and it strengthens our position on the international stage. I know he has mean tweets, but no one in international government governing bodies had any respect for Joe Biden. How could you? So on trade, I give him an S. I give him an S, not because it's perfect, but because he's the only man to have had vision and actually take a crack at it. Huge risk, and it seems to be paying off.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think there's a couple of outstanding factors still yet to be seen. I think he'll get good deals with them, but South Korea, we want to see a trade deal come in with them. It should be pretty easy for that deal to happen, I would imagine. But with the China thing, I take a little different tack. This is where Donald Trump's value in this situation came into play, whereas most people don't really know this. Your dad was 100% wrong if the United States continued to do what it was doing.
Sure.
China, yes, would become the next, because we would build them.
We were enabled
because we were sending our engineers over there. We're sending our companies over there. We're actually training their workforces to be able to do the things that we should be doing here in the United States or in other places where we have equal partnerships with people, not where China is stealing all of the IP and trying to have, built in China by 2025 or China 2025. That's basically like, we just want to make it all ourselves.
Yeah.
Get rid of all these companies. So thank God Donald Trump had the business acumen and sense to go, that can't be allowed to happen. So I want to see something with China, but I do give him an S right now because everybody said this was
all of these other things have to, all of these other deals have to fall into place. China's going to be the last one in if it happens.
Honestly, I don't even know if I want to deal with China. If we just leave China where it is right now, I'm fine with that. China needs to experience some pain. I don't want a deal that's bad for us with China.
It's pretty clear to me that Donald Trump is playing a game here where he's going, all right, either China's going to play ball or we're going to render them irrelevant.
Yeah.
To some degree.
Right.
That's the game plan. They're not
Just
going to
knock them down a notch.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, so you both give them S on this?
Nick?
I hope that China isn't totally irrelevant. Ever had General Tso's chicken?
Well, that'll still
Holy
happen.
Jesus.
That's
That's so
American
selfish,
Chinese.
though.
You don't want to eat sewer rat.
Yes, I give him an S on this.
Yeah.
And he was saying this stuff. You've seen the clips on the internet.
Yeah.
He's on Oprah in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Saying we're being ripped off, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I'm almost disappointed at him not jumping in earlier to stop the bleeding.
It's true.
But I'm glad he finally did. He realized with all the poo and all the media shitting on this country, that he never lost fact. It was still the only superpower,
right?
Especially financially,
right?
He never lost because he's a businessman, and he knew just what he was doing. And like I said, I'm surprised he didn't jump into the fight earlier.
Yeah, well, it's true.
Yes, S.
That's a good point too, and that'll bring us to foreign policy. We have a much longer track record of Donald Trump. A lot of elected officials, you only have their track record since they've actually been elected officials,
right?
Because they weren't public figures until that, and so you get a flip-flop record.
That's right.
You can watch. That's where you go back and see old young Trump, where he was more nasally, less raspy, saying, like, "Look, the superheads are coming for us," And you're like ah.
Did he apologize for that?
And he did the same thing with Iran. He did the same thing with Iran. He has been remarkably consistent. So first, now let's go to foreign policy. We're going to have Mr. Fist on, raise your fist in just a few moments. Some of the achievements as far as international relations, foreign policy here. The India-Pakistani ceasefire, India-Pakistan, I guess we go by countries. Indian-Pakistani or India-Pakistan, I don't care. The Israel-Iran ceasefire. Just today was announced, I believe, he announced the Thailand-Cambodia ceasefire. I don't have a lot of information on that. That's kind of
the hell were they fighting
emerging.
Rice patties.
Noodles?
Yeah, exactly. It's for us, you're all quite similar. Some areas of concern out there would be obviously Russia, Ukraine. He just set another deadline. Obviously, Israel, Hamas, that hasn't been solved. And obviously, China. So I would give his foreign policy overall, and I want to separate one component, the Iran strike. Foreign policy overall, I give a B. That's what I would give him a B because I could see a point for C, considering that Israel, Hamas is still going on, Russia, Ukraine is still going on.
Yeah, so we're right in the middle of it. I think the economic stuff that he's done really is going to hurt Russia and potentially bring them to the table. So if that pans out, then that could move him to. I give him a high B. I give him a high B right now. By the way, the Cambodia ceasefire thing was a couple of days ago, so it wasn't just this morning.
Well, he just posted about it this morning.
He posted about it, but it was a couple of days ago that they did it. So
I don't know. Was it finalized? It was official?
I don't know. His post, I think, was at least from a day ago.
All right.
So it wasn't today.
All right, I apologize. Admonish
Just making
me.
sure.
I want to see if you're on your toes, Applejack.
I don't know if it's an admonishment necessarily.
Well, it was tough. I read it this morning.
Certainly
they
just
all
you,
bleed
not
together.
me.
No. I deserve to be admonished. If I said today and it was yesterday, look, guys, I don't want to be the person misinforming you. I don't want to be the person misinforming you, which brings me to my next point. Iran, specifically. I want to separate this. The B2 rate, where the specific strike on Iran, because you have to remember, people were calling for Donald Trump to be impeached. And those were people on the right saying,
Before this strike.
I voted for peace and he's betraying his base. Again, you can go back to early 2000s and see Donald Trump saying that Iran must never be allowed to have a nuke. And then you fast forward to like 2008. I'm serious, Iran can have no nukes. Go fast forward to 2012. Like, the Iranians are gross. And you go fast. He's been saying it nonstop. He couldn't be more consistent. So I was obviously upset that people were trying to fracture the right, saying that he betrayed his base. You may not like it. So here were the arguments that were presented. He's betrayed his base. That was a lie. Okay, that's misrepresentation. Then people would say, well, I voted for peace. I voted for the peace president, not war. Well, we now have the results on that, to be clear, as far as Iran. The nation that was building up nuclear capabilities with I don't even want to say administration, with a fascist, with a religious zealot oligarch government chanting death to America. When you think of that mission where we had our bombers fly over the ocean in the middle of the night, undetected, take out Iran's nuclear enriching capabilities with no deaths that we know of, certainly no civilian deaths. We haven't even heard of any actual military on-duty deaths, but basically no collateral damage, to be back out over the sea on the way home before Iran even knew what happened. I can't think of any more successful American mission carried out in my lifetime than that. And then after that, the people saying impeachment has betrayed his base and saying, I voted for peace. And of course, we haven't really heard a peep from Iran. We have achieved peace as far as our goals with Iran. A new war has not started with Iran. And there was a ceasefire between Iran and Israel, but that also means they're probably not going for the big devil, the United States of America. The goalposts have moved again, where people are going, well, yeah, well, it wasn't that effective, actually, except Iran's foreign minister, in trying to save face, admitted that it destroyed them. And they said, like, we're going to rebuild them. We're going to rebuild them back up because we still want nukes, and you can't keep me down. Chumbawamba, whatever bullshit. Play it.
What is the status at Fordo?
Dusty.
No one exactly knows what has transpired in Fordo. That being said, what we know so far is that the facilities have been seriously and heavily damaged. The Atomic Energy Organization of the Islamic Republic of Iran is currently undertaking evaluation and assessment, and the report of which will be submitted to the government.
I give the dealing with Iran, I give that S tier.
That's S.
I give that S tier.
Yeah, that's very clearly S.
Yeah. And I think that if anyone out there is being honest, looking at the results, looking at how it transpired, they would have to admit it and have to admit that the calls for impeaching and declaring that Donald Trump was a turncoat and a war president, maybe they were wrong, right? Now let's move forward, right? They were wrong. So you give it S?
Wrong. I give it an S.
What do you give Iran?
100%.
That was fun.
You didn't ask me on the last one to weigh in.
Oh, the other one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, I was going to say, I don't care about Taiwan versus whatever. Because of what he did in the Middle East, he's getting an S.
Yeah.
This squabble's only been going on for 2,000 years.
Yeah.
And he comes in and puts it out like it's a cigarette butt.
Yes.
So, yes, I gave him a triple S on his chest and his ass, a tattoo on his face.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, and you know what? I guarantee you everyone took note. They were going, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. He is willing to.
American might.
Yeah.
And
All
precision.
right. We've kind of forgot about this. Oh, you know what? Yeah, these tariffs don't seem so. Oh, they're the reciprocal. Okay. We're good. Just don't turn us into Superman's dad's bachelor pad.
What I laugh at is, can you imagine they were arguing who the better president would be, Biden or Trump? It's just hilarious.
I know.
Biden's better than the last 10 combined. I mean, I was a Reagan guy. He's put him in the dust. Trump.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said Biden. You said Biden's better than the last.
Biden?
Yes,
Oh,
you did.
yes.
Like, give him an admonishment because I know he wants it.
Real quick.
He wants
Yeah,
it.
you could
needs to
admonish
feel it.
me.
He meant to say down. Anytime, Applejack.
What? On your schedule.
No rush. We just have a guest waiting. Yeah.
That's the name of my next album, buddy.
Good. Just be sure to put anyone on the cover. Make sure they're alive. But yes, you were saying.
He died in a fire at the 502 Wings.
Better than the last 10 combined. Certainly more effective.
Yeah.
Certainly more effective, for sure. So you give him an S.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Right on his chest.
All right, let's give him so let's go. I don't want to end this on a down note, but I think this will work. We have a Razor Fist coming on. In dealing with the deep state, this is one big promise, right? Draining the swamp. He talked about the JFK files. He talked about the Epstein files. He talked a lot about our intelligence agencies. So the good, he's cut federal employment overall by about 120-something thousand workers.
Good.
Oh, yeah, you guys bring it up. 127,000. That's from CNN, New York Times. So 50-something thousand, 51,000 were fired. About 75,000 were bought out. They were offered because they really stood by their convictions. They're like, cash.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take it.
So that's
Arby's.
so that's good. But when you understand the scope of the federal government and you understand just how corrupt our three-letter agencies are, and when you look at the debacle, and yes, it has been a debacle as far as Epstein, and you can't lay that directly at Trump's feet. Obviously, Bondi is responsible for the whole Binder Gate, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you look at what we are being told right now, it certainly feels like the least fulfilled promise, dealing with the deep state. When you thought, okay, we're going to deconstruct this, we're going to finally peek behind the curtain, and you get, actually, what you've been told is exactly what happened with Epstein, and here's less evidence, and you guys should stop talking about it. And we still have these mammoth agencies. In dealing with the deep state, I give them a D. That's the one that I would give this administration. It's the one that I would give a D.
I agree. I mean, as far as what we know now, here's something I've been thinking about since we've started discussing this earlier today. If there's something going on behind the scenes right now that we can't know about yet, that produces amazing results, and they're working, because it is the deep state, and so this may have to be handled slightly differently.
Very right.
Then fine, I'm willing to raise the bar a little bit later on the ranking. Fine, but right now, from everything we see, D.
All of this can be changed.
No, I know it can, but in this particular case, I think this more than any of the others has a lot more to. Okay, maybe you can come back later on, maybe a year from now, and you can go, all the stuff that we were doing during that time, we couldn't tell you about. We couldn't tell you about because it would have tipped our hand, or it would have completely ruined it. But outside of that, it's a D right now. And that was who Donald Trump was, period. If you had to put one thing on him, outsider that was going to drain the swamp back from 2015 when he was starting to run, that's his game. If he doesn't fulfill that, I'll be very disappointed, because all of the good he's done can be undone in the future.
Right.
And we don't want that.
Yeah. These agencies, they wield a lot of power. And I said that was my closed-handed issue, right? With every single representative, politician, candidate who I said, if you're not going to completely disband or at least rebuild entirely the FBI, the CIA, certainly the IRS, then that's where I would just as soon stay home. And here, I believe we have him ready on the line to discuss this. He's a longtime friend of the show, but he hasn't been on in a while. You know him.
Hey, what am I colored?
The host
I
of
give him a
Race.
C.
Well, you're Sicilian. Oh, I'm sorry. See?
See?
What am I, a person of color? I give him a C.
You already said the other one.
Because
Don't expect an apology.
no, I'm just saying.
I'll wait. You give him a C.
I'm a C. Until I want to see some cuffs on some people doing a perp walk.
Yeah.
Like that. Like what's his name? Father Morgan said it takes a while.
Yeah.
A person of color.
Because of the nature. Intelligence and all that, and because of all the success he's having in other fields, he's a little busy.
Yeah.
That's it.
The problem is when you have people like Kash Patel saying, first day, first week, it's like, okay, you got, just
gotta be a
don't
museum.
don't overpromise. And they overpromised, and if they hadn't promised anything, they've underdelivered. I mean, there were thousands of arrests when you just take January 6th into account, let alone when you look at charges, when you look at the sham trials taking place under the Biden. So I will never buy that it can't be done. I'm not saying just arrest somebody on some trumped up charges. I'm saying there absolutely is something there. And for some reason, this needle can't get moved. So that's one for me that's disappointing. But I appreciate Nick is being more balanced about it. Hey, you're still there, Rumble viewer, and you are my favorite viewer. You know why? Because you're not a YouTube viewer. And they suck. The problem is that there's like 6 or 7 million subscribers on YouTube who are trying to bring over, but now the YouTube overlords won't let. So just, hey, if you're here on Rumble, follow me right here where you only get notifications when I am live weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. And download the app.